What's up, guys? Jim here with Unplayable. Here to just give you a quick recap of the Minneapolis event. I know Mike already went through his experience playing Cad Green, and I was fortunate enough to actually take Qi'ra Data Vault all the way to a 9-4 record. So I was really excited about just the run. Wanted to share a little bit of kind of what that looked like, a few things that I did with the deck. Just talk kind of a little bit more about the meta. I know here at Unplayable we don't do a ton of meta competitive talks, but we just figured, hey, since we just went to a big event, actually did really well. Shout out to Jay and Mike for also making day two. Just wanted to talk through a little bit of kind of what our experience was. So real quick, just wanted to start by saying, hey, if you are not in our Discord, please come join. It is such a fun community. We're always in there chatting with you guys. Really just trying to make it just the most hospitable place we can. And so we'd love to have you guys join. And if you want more videos from us at Unplayable, we actually just started our members only club at unplayable.gg. So come check that out. See a bunch of exclusive videos that we only put up there. So they're not going to be on YouTube. A lot of deep dives into different decks that we're playing and crafting and kind of working through, as well as some exclusive merch. So I think our stuff looks pretty cool. Hope you do too. And come hang out with us. So I brought Qi'ra Data Vault to this tournament. And I know that's kind of like the big boogeyman of the meta right now, but I'll be honest, I watched Woo's videos just like the rest of you guys did. If you guys are on Qi'ra Data Vault, really liked what he had to say about just how the deck plays, kind of what are some of the goals. And I really just liked its spot in the meta. And so this is not going to be a full deck tech because I'm just going to be honest with you guys, shoot you straight. Go check out Woo's content. It is phenomenal work on how to play Qi'ra Data Vault, how to think through the early game, the flip turn, how to then transition into actually winning the game. Really want you guys to, just check that out. He does fantastic work over there on his channel. But did want to talk a little bit about, what I kind of changed from some of his lists, specifically to tackle the meta that was present here in Minneapolis. So reason I went with Qi'ra Data Vault, again, I like more of a control style. I like kind of just answering what my opponents are doing and then finding unique ways to kind of come over the top and win that way. So it fits my play style pretty naturally already. I was kind of between Quinlan Tarkentown or Qi'ra Data Vault, and I just realized I was playing Quinlan just too passively. Quinlan really needs to be kind of pushing in that ship damage throughout the games. And Qi'ra does that as well, but has a little bit more flexibility to play on the control side of things. So I went with Qi'ra. Real quick, I want to go and just show you guys my deck list. Here is the list of 70 cards, because since it's a Data Vault deck, 60 cards in the main deck, 10 in the sideboard. Just wanted to hit on a few of the interesting selections on here and kind of what purpose they serve. So first thing you're going to see on there is restock, just one copy. Again, something we talks about in his video, very eloquently puts it, but essentially in any sort of control matchup, in the past with Qi'ra, you've just had to take the L on that first game because they're going to be able to out control you and get you with the vigilance loops with restocks later on in the game. So just having the one copy of restock means I don't have to just take that first L. And can actually fight to win that first game. Obviously, then once you get to the sideboard, you have the Palpatine's Returns, you have the Relentless, the Annihilators, things like that to kind of really fight even harder for games 2 and 3. So it's still important for you to kind of evaluate as you're playing those. Is this one that I can win? If it gets to a point where you're like, you know what, I can't, better just go and scoop that game. But if you're actually fighting pretty well, you do just go and have that restock in the main board. Some of the other ones in here, obviously you have the classic Ramp package, the Super Laser Tech and Resupply. Those are like the two best cards in the deck almost. Just getting to that Qi'ra flip turn is so important. I kept one copy of Long Pike in here, mostly for the Quinlan matchup. It just battles your hand so aggressively that having something that you can smuggle out that, solid body, getting some good efficient shields is really good. It helped me a couple times, but it wasn't the best card in the deck. I don't think it's necessary, but I did just enjoy having it. It's a must-have in the ECL version of Qi'ra, but with the Data Vault version, it's kind of like a nice oops package for if you do get pillaged or they have Ahsoka into double force throw that you now have nothing to play. So didn't hate it, but wasn't like an MVP in the deck. From there, some of the other cards that I did add, you'll notice I only had one copy of Traitorous. I know a lot of lists are running 2 right now. I still wanted one copy in the list. I think it's good just to keep your opponents honest. specifically with the Han 1 green, just to make sure that if they really try to like pilot up a Millennium Falcon, you have an option to kind of punish them for doing that. However, there's so much upgrade hate right now that people are actually putting even in the main deck, like Confiscates, Disabling Fang Fighter. I didn't want to lean too heavily into that strategy to try to steal their stuff, but did want to at least keep them honest with that. I did side it out a lot of times after playing it, just so they kind of teched into it, but then I didn't have it kind of idea. One fun play that I did do this weekend was using Traitorous on a ready Cassian that they had just smuggled out against a Sabine ECL player. And that was actually the last 3 damage I needed to win that game. And so that was kind of a fun play that Traitorous was helpful in there. And the last one in here is just going to be Supreme Leader Snoke. I think that's a fantastic card. The only reason it's not in a lot of lists is just because of the meta that we're in. But with Ray Data Vault being more popular, with Vader 4 Yellow being extremely popular, it's one of the most popular decks brought this past weekend. For me, I just wanted something that wasn't just technically Super Laser Blast to kind of fight for the board. And again, the way I love winning with Qi'ra is you win the board, and then you kind of stick one unit that's just able to hit them over and over and over again. And Snoke is a perfect opportunity for that. So those are some of the cards that I switched up, changed. Also in the sideboard, I know some people are running like Chilton, some people are running top targets, but I went with the client and just an extra copy of the Perimeter ATRT. For me personally, that's just what I wanted to tech in against the super aggressive matchups. I know in Woo's list, he actually didn't even include a sideboard option for the hyper aggressive plays. And honestly, our main deck does a good job. I played 2 Sabine ECLs, was able to win 2-1 against both of them. And so for me, I added the client. I just like the 2/5 body for 3, and the healing is nice when that comes into play, but not mandatory. But it just kind of gave me that option if there was an efficient way to kind of get some easy kills and get the additional 5 health. That was kind of ideal. Also wanted to talk a little bit about how to mulligan for Qi'ra. This one's a little bit weird because you have 11 turn 1 plays in this list, but you actually aren't always looking to play a card turn 1. So we have the Hylabon Enforcer, we have the Dr. Purging, we have the Inferno 4, and the Pike Sentinel. I was only running 2 copies of Inferno 4. I definitely think there's a case to say to add a third one in there. I love its ability to kind of cycle through your deck and fight for the space side. So I don't think I would actually cut another turn 1 play. I think I would go up to 12 and look somewhere else to cut a card. Maybe the Traitorous as a starting option. But especially with all the Vader 4 that I saw, having that Inferno 4 to especially kill the Lurking TIE Phantoms would have been ideal. So all that to say, turn 1 plays are really good. If you can stick a Hylabon Enforcer and hit them for 3 every single turn, it really puts some weird pressure on them, fights for the board early. Dr. Pershing drawing you a lot of cards is amazing. I don't love Pike Sentinel turn 1 as much. For me, that's a card that I like playing right on the Qi'ra flip turn, just to have a way to protect Qi'ra. But it's still good enough, especially in the aggressive matchups, to kind of slow down your opponent a little bit. But really what I'm looking for is going to actually be the ramp. I'm way more willing to say if I didn't hit a turn 1 play, as long as I have a ramp card, I'm probably still keeping. And actually Overwhelming Barrage is another card that I'm highly desiring in that opening hand. It's just such a good just like turn card for you now have the board. Now you're going to be the one swinging at their base, and they're kind of going to be on the back foot the rest of the game. So those are kind of the cards I'm looking for. Usually each matchup I try to pick okay, what are the 4 most important cards that I want to see, and almost pretend like those are your turn 1 plays. And so it's if you really need that Overwhelming Barrage, maybe it takes the place of the Pike Sentinel in your head of okay, this is really what I'm mulliganing hard for. Let me try to get at least 1, ideally 2 of those 11 to 12 cards. And so that's kind of what I was looking for. The interesting thing about Overwhelming Barrage is you typically actually don't want to use that on the Qi'ra flip turn if it's on turn 5. Usually what I like to be doing on the turn 5 play is playing a Sentinel, shielding it with Qi'ra, and then deploying Qi'ra out. So the Sentinel is now going to be full health, can protect Qi'ra a little bit, and then you can overwhelming barrage the next turn. So you just have to be really careful with when do you actually deploy Qi'ra. You want to keep her safe, and ideally want to kind of pair those two together. Obviously, have a little bit more flexibility if you're just trying to use the gunship, and just once you deploy Qi'ra, you're just good to go there. But to really maximize overwhelming barrage, typically don't think deploy Qi'ra, pray that they don't have something to answer it, because typically they will, especially in tournament play where they know Qi'ra is going to be a very prominent role in the meta. So, like I said, typically you want to stick a Sentinel unit. I have tons of Sentinels in this list, and then try to overwhelming barrage the following turn. It's kind of what I'm looking for. So all that to say, kind of, yeah, the flip turn really is the crux of this deck. If you can master the flip turn, you're going to be very solid on this list. A lot of the early game is trying to ramp, trying to establish a board, trying to clear their units as best you can, and you're using that Qi'ra flip turn to switch defense to offense. And you're not usually winning this game. Like sometimes, yeah, you just win the game by like sticking a Devastator and winning in 3 turns. But a lot of times, it's actually the chip damage that you're getting over time. And so little things like playing out the Devastating Gunship, using the Qi'ra ability to make it a 5 attack with a shield, and then kind of each turn hitting them for 5 as you're clearing their board with everything else. Great opportunity to win the game. Or even if like you're needing to attack the gunship into a space unit and then use Qi'ra to attack in for 4 damage. You're just kind of getting that little chip extra damage every single time, adding that pressure until they get to that point of like they have to find a way to stick a unit and they're just not able to, and you kind of win that way. So you can win by finally hitting your crazy capital ship and winning over 3 turns. But typically you're trying to keep that pressure on throughout. And so again, the Qi'ra flip turn really is that opportunity to say, hey, I'm switching from the defensive, just soaking up, all the units you're playing and killing them, to finally saying, actually, I'm going to now stick a unit and your health total is going to quickly deplete that way. And last thing I just want to talk about, guys, is just the meta that we saw. That top 8 actually had 7 different leaders. So there's 2 Quinlans and then 7 other leaders, 7 total leaders present in the top 8. And so the meta's wide open, which is awesome. I know some people were saying, oh, that probably means it's like a rock, paper, scissors format where it's like aggro beats mid-range beats, or aggro beats control, mid-range beats aggro, control beats mid-range kind of deal. That actually just wasn't the case. What I really noticed was, for the most part, the best players were at the top tables. As far as the players that have been getting consistent results, we're also getting consistent results. It wasn't so much that it was like, hey, I played Qi'ra and I happen to only play the matchups that Kira's good into, and that's why I'm here. A lot of decks were able to navigate the field efficiently. And yeah, kind of the best players seem to be the ones to come out on top rather than like a specific list. And so I really enjoyed the meta, just the fact that if you brought something you're comfortable playing with and felt like you could, just navigate the field as best you could, you were situated really well. I love that, like, even on our own team, Jay, Mike, and I all brought 3 different lists. David, shout out to him, brought Bubba Tarkentown, Bubba for Tarkentown, and had a blast. He went 3-3, still won some games, but Jay went 7-2 on day 1 with Han 1 Green. Mike went 7-2 with Cad Green. I came in with Qi'ra Data Vault. So really, it's just play a green base, and you'll go 7-2. But just wanted to talk real quick through some of the matchups, some of the plays that happened. I didn't get to play any of the mirror matchups, but had the restock for that list. Sabina played twice and was able to 2-1 it both times. Honestly, was able to clear the board. And like I said, if you can stick a gunship and just hit them for 4 turns in a row, all of a sudden their health is gone. And so, yeah, that one's really just, if you can manage the flip turn for Sabine and still have like 15, 20 health left, it's hard to do. But at that point, you've now gotten the board, and they will be able to keep finding threats to do a little bit of damage throughout the game. But that's the point that you need to really like flip the script, and now you're the one putting on the pressure. And so I was able to do that pretty well. I didn't play any Han solos. That's Han 1 or Han 2, which is unfortunate, but Snoke in the Han 2 matchup's another thing I love, because they're dealing damage to their units to play them a little bit earlier. A lot of times they just have the 2 health, and so Snoke's perfect for clearing those up. Vader 4 yellow was everywhere. I went 2-0 against it. One of my favorite plays was uh, they played like a lurking TIE Phantom, attached Vader to it. It's now a 7/7 that's attacking for 9 and can't be defeated by my normal tricks. But it was a game 2 in that matchup, and I tacked in some Architens, which is the 7/8 ambush space unit, which just perfectly traded in that TIE Phantom. So got to kill it. Vader was gone. Uh, the TIE Phantom went into my resource row. It was just perfect and pretty much game over at that point. Ray Data Vault was actually one of my losses. I only played one. I know that matchup, you just have to clear everything they play. And so I wish I would have been able to stick Relentless to stop their U-Wings after I finally was able to take over the board. But essentially, they will always be drawing cards, always have things to play. A lot of just really annoying units. And Qi'ra likes it when your opponent just is trying to play one unit per turn. And it can get away with playing two and kind of overcoming that. But if they're playing 3-4 units a turn, it's really hard to come back from. And so you've really got to win the board and then keep killing their stuff over and over again. Quinlan Voss, I went 0-2 against Quinlan. It's a tough matchup. I think it's probably more 50-50. I just didn't have as many reps as I needed to with it. Essentially, they were able to win if they got early pressure. I remember one game they played the 4-cost 4/3 ambush against me after I just flipped Qi'ra, and it was just game over at that point. And so if they're able to stick a unit and kind of hit you for that 3 damage every turn, it's actually really hard to totally stop everything they're doing. And so I needed a reinforcement walker, couldn't quite find it. And yeah, went 0-2 against Quinlan. So I think I went 0-2 the first round and then 1-2 the second round. So only got one game win. So it was a tough matchup, but definitely still winnable for Qi'ra. And lastly, Cad Bane. I went 1-1 against Cad Bane. At one point, I got sneak attack devastated for a loss. That was tough. So that one's actually a pretty tough matchup. It's another one that you can keep clearing, but you really have to make sure you tackle that early board. And also just try to keep Cad Bane's card total low. If they're able to draw a lot, if they're able to cycle Jabba, it can get really tough because they just have so many answers to kill your threats. If you're able to finally stick a Devastator or a Relentless, that's always great. Honestly, with CAD, don't let them capture your stuff. That's the scariest thing if they can capture it and do things with it. But yeah, like I said, this weekend was amazing. I surprised myself even of going 7-2 on day one and then 2-2 on day two. So finished 9-4, 37th place overall, which I was thrilled about. Truly, I was hopeful to get to 5-2. For me, that's kind of like a sweet spot of like okay, I feel like it was a successful experience, and that's just with the wins losses. Obviously, there's so many things about just playing well. But yeah, for me, that was kind of my goal, and I hit 5-2, and then was grateful to win round 8 and 9 to qualify for day two. So really amazing experience. Love getting to chat with all of you guys as well. Anybody that I met this weekend, you guys really just did make it so special. And so thank you for coming up. Thank you for saying hey. Yeah, it's an experience that I really will cherish. And so truly, thank you all. Hope this was a good little breakdown. Like I said, if you're wanting the full Qi'ra breakdown of how to really like play out that list and really go through all those nuances, I cannot do it as well as Wu can. That's why he won the tournament. So go check out his stuff. Yeah, and make sure to check out Mike's breakdown on his Cad Green deck because that list is spicy. So thanks, y'all. See you in Discord. Check out unplayable.gd. Peace.